How are you doing? So I'm Donna, and today you and I are going to be working out on our mats. So I teach Body Control Pilates. It's a mat-based Pilates class, and if you've never done Pilates before, don't worry, because I'm going to teach you how to do it correctly. And we're just going to get started now. If you have done Pilates before, but you're looking to go back to basics, you're looking to find that connection with your core, come and join me down on the mat. So we're going to start really simply, because if we get the basics right, if we learn to find the correct positioning on the mat and really find that connection with, we call this our trunk, our powerhouse, then you'll be able to move on to the more challenging moves, and you'll do it without any fear of injuring yourself. And you'll know that by doing it correctly, you're going to build that strength and stamina. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we're lying down on the mats. So I, at the moment, have got my head down on the mat. So if you feel in this position that your head is tilted here, then I want you to take a small cushion or fold a towel so that you can get your neck into a more neutral position. We're going to take our collarbones nice and wide, shoulders nice and relaxed. You're going to bring the heels of your hands onto your hip bones, point your fingertips down towards your pubic bone. Now, I'm going to keep my lower back down on the mat, but I'm going to tuck my pelvis here. So now my lower back's imprinted. And then as I tilt my pelvis, I can now feel a big arch. Can we see that? Under my lower back. Okay, so we're going to do that a few more times. And then I'm going to think about aligning my hips and my pubic bone. So they're level. I'm drawing my navel in up towards my spine, and I just have a very small arch now in my lower back. This is our neutral spine and pelvis. And this is the position we're going to keep throughout the class. Okay, you're going to relax your arms down by your side, feet, knees, hip distance apart. We're going to start by sliding the right foot down the mat. So as I'm moving this foot, I'm not allowing my hip to drop on this side, and I'm going to bring that foot back to center. So if you were moving without thinking about your powerhouse and keeping everything still and stable, then chances are you're twisting and the pelvis is moving. So we're going to use our core. You're going to breathe in and you're going to breathe out. And we breathe in and out. So we keep the movement controlled. So yes, I'm straightening the leg, but I'm thinking about lengthening that leg, opening through this hip, and return. And as I return the foot onto the mat, I'm bringing the whole of the foot down. You want your big toe, little toe, heel, that tripod connection with the floor as you extend. So the foot that's staying still is going to help to give you that stability in your pelvis, in your spine. Okay, we're going to add a little bit more now. So I'm going to reach above my head with my right arm. Looks really simple, yeah? Okay, if I don't think about it, then to reach this far, I might start to arch my back and think, oh, if I do that, I get to reach even further. But then my spine is no longer in neutral. Can we see that big arch? My ribs are flaring and I'm not using my core at all. I've just switched everything off. So I need to pull that navel down. I need my back of the ribs to stay heavy on the mat. And I'm going to use my core for even the simplest move. As I now take my left arm overhead, I'm drawing my navel down. I'm keeping everything stable. And you're going to switch sides. So we go right and we reach. So energy through those fingertips. Now, we've not all got the same range of movement in our shoulders. So if you find that as you take the arm over your head, you can't get it to here without arching your back, then don't take it to there. Keep thinking about this, about your center, keeping everything still and stable, using your core. Okay, we're going to spice things up a little bit. You're going to take your right arm overhead. You're going to extend that left leg. You're going to breathe out, come back to center, return the whole foot. Extend and reach, breathe in, breathing out. So I know that I'm having to use my core more now to get that stability. And again, reach and return. How are we doing? One more big breath in, breathing out. And last one. Great. Now you're going to bring your heels of your hands onto your hips, point the fingertips down to your pubic bone. Make sure the collarbone's nice and wide. Okay, we've got our hands on here because we don't want our pelvis to twist. So I'm going to rotate out in this right hip, the knees dropping towards the floor. And I'm using the foot that's on the floor to, again, give me some stability. And I breathe out, bring that knee back to center, switch sides, breathe in, breathe out. So, looks really simple, yeah? Well, if you're doing it correctly, then it actually feels quite challenging. So what we're focusing on, rotating in the hip joint. But if I was cheating, and I wasn't thinking about this, I can take that all the way to the floor, but I've let that hip lift and I've assisted the movement. So I'm not really focusing on hip rotation. I'm trying to go as far as I can, but I'm trying to assist that movement. So you're going to use your core. You're going to breathe in. That's going to help. Draw your navel in towards your spine. You're going to use your breath, breathe out. You're going to keep that connection with your core, and that's going to keep your pelvis nice and stable here. So this is what we call level 1. So a beginner's kind of level for this exercise. Then as we get stronger and we know we've got that stability, you can start to spice things up at the challenge. And we do that by bringing the feet off the mat here. So you can have it with one foot down and we rotate out. Now that's much more challenging and I'm having to use my core more. You bring that foot down, lift the other foot and we rotate out. So we might not be ready for that yet, in which case we're going to keep both feet down on the floor. Okay, you're going to curl up with me now. So arms, always thinking about engaging energy through these fingertips, reaching with the arms down the mat. Now, we're going to float those arms up. Remember what we said about keeping the back of the ribs heavy on the mat, not letting the front of the ribs flare. So this time, we're going to lift our chin towards our chest, lifting our shoulders away from the mat, and you're going to curl up. Now, I'm imagining a little apple here under my chin. So I don't want to tuck down, and neither do I want my head here. So hold that apple in place. And what I haven't done is tuck my pelvis to try and get a bigger curl up. Pelvis stays neutral. We're thinking about our upper body. Okay, now you're going to lift those arms. Shoulders come down, head comes down. Back of the ribs heavy on the mat, reach above your head. We're going to curl up again and reach forwards. Well done. So the breathing with this, so if you can layer in the breathing, it was going to help the movement to flow. It's going to help with that connection with your powerhouse. You're breathing out, curl up. How are you doing? You're going to breathe in on the way down. Breathe out, curl up. And breathe in, curl down. You're going to do one more here. Well done. Shoulders lift. Hold that apple in place. And you're going to curl all the way down. Well done. Bring your arms down by your side. Shoulders nice and wide. Okay. Now, we're going to interlace your fingers. You're going to bring your hands behind your head and you've now just made a little hammock basket to rest your head. Elbows are wide, but they're not that wide that I can't see them in my peripheral vision. So I need to raise them a little bit forwards. That's it. See them at the corner of your eye. Now we're going to curl up again, but this time my head's nice and supported. So before I try and lift my head, I'm going to use my arms. Okay, I'm going to use my core. So breathe out. Not using my neck, I'm lifting my head using my arms and my core, and then I'm going to lower to the mat. So breathe out, just lift the head, your head, an inch or two, and lower. And one more time, you're going to lift and lower. Okay, now we're going to curl up more. So take an inhale, breathing out. Lift your head. Now lifting those shoulders, keep those elbows wide, and then inhale, slowly come all the way back down. And again, you're curling it up and curling down. How are we doing? So you can do as many repetitions as you like of these, but what we don't do, so you see people, you'll see them on Instagram, working out in the gym, filming, and they're crunching and crunch. So can you see what happens? I come down, I lift my ribs, and then I collapse my ribs, and then I'm tucking my pelvis up, tuck, and back, and tuck. That's not what we're doing here today. We're really finding that deep, deep connection, finding that stability. Well done. Now we're going to make it a bit more challenging. So you're going to lift the head, supported by your hands, elbows stay wide. Breathe out, lift one foot away from the mat, curl down and return. So we breathe out. We're going to breathe in. We're going to breathe out. Breathing in, lengthening the spine as you come down. And again, so every time you curl up, head supported. As you curl down, keep that connection navel to spine. Just a couple more here. And down we go. And one more. And down we go. Well done. So bring your arms down by your side. Okay, just reset. Shoulders wide, collarbone wide. Okay, feet hip distance. We're going to curl up together again. Reach those arms, remembering ribs stay soft here. Ribs heavy on the mat. Okay, we're going to curl up together. Curl up and reach. Now, if you do feel uncomfortable, if the neck feels like it's straining, you can bring one hand behind your head. Support your head. When we've done a few repetitions, you're going to change hands. Okay. So we're going to lift one foot away from the mat. Now I'm pushing down, connecting into the floor with the opposite foot. Return that foot and switch. And lower. And switch. So it's here. These deep abdominal muscles, your transverse abdominis, that I'm feeling that connection. Well done. How are you doing? And just a couple more. Remember, you can support your head if you need to with one hand or both hands. One more on each side. And you're going to bring the feet down and you're going to curl all the way down. Relax your arms down by your side. Just a couple more exercises. We're going to bring our feet together on your knees. So my ankle bones on the inside are touching. So you're going to have the arms out wider than your mat, palms face the ceiling. We're going to roll our hips, rotate our spine. So we're going to roll the knees to the right, but we lift the left hip first. Lift that hip. Start to roll. Now, the top foot is lifting away from the mat and I'm twisting, but I'm gluing my shoulders down. So those knees are not going to come down all the way to the mat. You're going to breathe out, draw those knees using your core back to center. Switch sides. So we lift the right hip. Then we start to lift the right foot as the knees roll. Keep this right shoulder down. Those knees are going to the left. Well done. Breathe out. Center using your core every time. Well done. And again, so we twist, rotate. So if I just show you, if I let this shoulder lift, then I can get my knees to the floor. But then I'm not rotating here. That's the focus. We need to get your spine mobile. We need to keep it young. We need to keep it rotating. And again, it feels really good. Feel that stretch, that release down the side of your body. And then we come back to center. And again, you can do as many of these as you want at home. I'm just showing you these basics to get you moving correctly. And one more time, inhale. And exhale. Well done. Okay, we're going to roll over onto our side. Bring your hand down onto the mat and then push yourself up. Fabulous. We're just going to turn on the mat for one final exercise. I'm just going to tuck this in so that you can see the position of my spine. So we're placing the hands on the mat and then stacking them directly underneath our shoulders. And my knees are directly underneath my hips. So this is our 4-point kneeling position. So if I came onto the mat here and I didn't know anything about Pilates, I might do this. I might collapse my spine or I might round my spine here. So what we're looking for, imagine whatever your favorite tipple is. Mine's Prosecco or a cup of tea. It might be coffee. It might be a gin and tonic, a glass of cold beer. We're going to balance that glass, that cup, on our spine. So we find that long spine. We're going to lengthen through the neck. So the crown of my head's reaching forwards and I'm drawing my navel in, finding that deep connection here. Okay, now we're going to start to slide our right, left foot even down the mat. Now, So I've lost one point of contact with the floor. So naturally your body might want to start shifting. Okay, we're going to try and keep our body centered as we lift that foot and lengthen. So we lower down with an inhale and we exhale with a lift. Inhale, exhale. Now I'm going to show you what we don't want to do. So if we lift that leg and think, ooh, look at me, look how high I can take it. Look at my spine and I'm arching in my back. So one thing I've done there, I've compressed here, which is never going to be good. Your lower back's not going to like that. But also I'm not using my core. So I'm forgetting about engaging my abdominal muscles when that happens. So we're not getting the full benefit of the exercise. So think about bringing this hip to neutral. We lift the leg here and lower. One more time. Bring that foot down, slide that foot in. Just get yourself nicely centered on the mat. Opposite side, so sliding the right leg down the mat. We're going to lift. Now, as you're doing these, it's tempting because there's a lot to think about to kind of drop your head here. Or we get a bit bored and we start looking around. What can I see? That's not good because you've got to think about your neck. It's the top part of your spine, your cervical spine. So when we lift our head, you're taking your spine out of neutral. Okay, we want to keep that spine nice and long. And we're going to keep that connection with our core. You're doing amazing. Okay, we're going to go 2 more. We're going to go 1 more. Well done. You bring that foot down, you slide that foot in. Okay, I was fibbing. We're going to do 1 more exercise now. Come off your wrists at any point. Okay, so any exercise where you're on your wrist like this, weight bearing, load bearing, is so good for building that bone density. If it's not something you're used to, then it will feel challenging. You might feel that your wrists ache, that you haven't got a lot of strength. Honestly, the more you do it, the more beneficial, the stronger you'll get, and you just won't feel quite as challenged with it, as in that it aches. Okay, so just stick with it. Okay, if it was your glutes that were burning or your core, you'd carry on. So just carry on with this. Okay, so we're going to think about moving our spine and hips. So take an inhale, start to round your spine. Now, the movement is from the hips. I'm opening my hips, middle of my spine. I'm making a nice big C shape. Tuck your chin down. Take an inhale, exhale, move from the hips, flex at the hips. Okay, we're going to start to lift our nose. We're not overstraining at the neck. This is all about the spine and the hips. And again, so breathing out on the movement. Pause, inhale. And breathe out again on the movement. Pause, inhale. One more. Last one. And center, find that long spine again. Press your heels towards your bottom. Reach up the mat, coming into what we call our rest position. However, if you have any issues with your knees and this is uncomfortable, don't get as much of a bend, as much flexion at the knees. Keep your bottom high and you can still stretch out here. So whichever option works best for your body. We're going to hold 3, 2, remembering you can bring your glutes to your heels. 1, and relax. We're going to slide the arms down the mat. Palms face the ceiling. Child's pose. Just let the shoulders relax, sink down towards the mat. And you're going to relax and hold there and feel very smug that you've just finished your first beginner's Pilates class with me. Thank you for joining me. I hope that was useful. There are so many other videos on my YouTube channel for you to enjoy, and I really look forward to seeing you again soon.